This is my 4th time making something for this video. At first, I was gonna make 1 video for each episode. I recorded 2 of those, then I was gonna make just 1 video summarizing the entire thing after rewatching the whole show. As much as I would love to watch the show for the 4th time, I can't. I simply can't do it no more. So this is gonna be a bad summary of the show. If you really want a good recap, watch the show yourself, or the show's recap. So let's go through this quickly, okay? I now present to you the Mr. Robot Recap Definitive Edition! Elliot Alderson is a hacker man who is addicted to morphine. His childhood friend is Angela, whose boyfriend Ollie is cheating on her. There's Shayla, who's his drug dealer that he feels things for. There's Vera, Shayla's drug dealer. He is stupid because his brother is stupid. There's his boss Gideon, who is a spicy old man who had braces in the script, and I wish that were a reality. There's also Lloyd, but sadly he never shows up, so let's forget him. He meets Tyrell Wellick, who's like, haha, I'm just like you, except I'm almost at the top of the biggest conglomerate in human history, and you're just some tech loser who wishes he was a cool vigilante. Bye, gold, bye! There's also Terry Colby, who sounds like and is an idiot. I hate his voice, and he is stinky! Elliot goes to his therapist date and is like, I really hate her boo, so he tries to hack him, but can't find anything. So he's like, well, dang, and just calls his own phone using Michael Hansen's phone. He also sees him abusing his dog and is like, ew. Eventually he figures out stuff about Michael Hansen. He says the company works at Allsafe from a massive DDoS attack and finds a file with F Society. He saves the file and keeps it for himself. A man named Mr. Robot shows up and is like, hey kiddo, if you deleted the file, frick off, go die! But if you didn't, let's go to Coney Island, sweet cheeks! And Elliot's like, who are you? And Mr. Robot's like, whatever, doesn't matter, you'll find out, stinky! And Elliot's like, okay, and goes to Coney Island, even though I wouldn't trust Christian Slater taking me to some gross area in New York. He takes him into F Society where you meet Mobley, Trenton, Romero, and Darlene. Fun fact, in the first episode, you can see Mobley's old actor and Trenton with glasses. Mr. Robot explains that they only meet IRL because other hacker groups get outed for messages to each other. Elliot's like, and Mr. Robot's like, well, have fun, kid, and lets Elliot run along. Elliot can't find anything about F Society online. He's like, okay, wig, but the IP's in the DAT file, so he can turn them in. He doesn't because they interest him. He goes to F Society and Darlene's like, where have you been? I wrote that thing. What the frick? Where were you? Elliot's like, what? Mr. Robot shows up with Twinkies like, whatever, let's have Twinkies! You eat, huh, Elliot? They got on a Ferris wheel. Mr. Robot's like, yo, let's crash the economy like Fight Club. And Elliot's like, let's actually not. That's bad. Mr. Robot's like, no, it isn't. And it's like, dang, you right. No, wait, you wrong! So he decides, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna out F Society. But then Terry Colby's like, go die, Angela. And Elliot's like, no, we're using your IP. You shouldn't have crossed me, idiot. So he waits, and eventually Terry Colby is arrested, and he's like, yes! But then those men in black guys that follow him are like, yo, come with us. And they take him to Tyrell, who's like, oh, hey. He offers a job to him, and Elliot's like, no, why would I ever? Did you guys hear this?
Can I think about it?
So Tyrell's angry and just lets that stew for a bit. He's like, hey, some group took responsibility for the hack. And Ellie's like, haha, what? F Society's like, we're blowing things up! And Ellie's like, you're what? So he's like, I'm not killing innocent people. And Mr. Robot's reason is, war is war, idiot. People die. Get used to it. Elliot only comes to terms with this because Shayla's being ruined by her need for money. He risks his own well-being so he can get rid of her drug dealer. He asks her for a bunch of morphine, but no Suboxone. Shayla is not down with that sickness, but he promises to be careful and she gives it to him. He is not careful. Elliot reveals to Mr. Robot that he was pushed out a window by his father for telling his mom that he got leukemia, and Mr. Robot's like, you deserved it, punk, and pushes him into a bunch of rocks. So, skipping ahead because my head hurts, they go to Steel Mountain. Elliot has withdrawals. They don't do it because the Dark Arm's like, no thank you, and Darlene is mad at Cisco, I think. Shayla is killed by Vera, and remember him! Seriously, I'm not kidding. Tyrell literally kills Scott Knowles' wife, and his wife is like, I'm breaking my water, but only so you don't get arrested, you idiot. Get out of my life. So Tyrell turns to Elliot for, I don't know, something. After a bunch of stuff, you learn Elliot is Mr. Robot. Whoa, didn't see that coming. But more shocking, Darlene is his sister. Whoa, something I actually didn't see coming. Elliot basically ruins Allsafe, and Angela gets a job at E-Corp. Tyrell's technically the one that goes through the 5-9 hacks and vanishes after that. Also, Elliot wakes up in a car and goes nuts. I can't remember anything else. Whoops.
So, God.
Elliot's at his mom's house, his abuser, but there's new characters, so shut up. Philip Price is the CEO or something of E-Corp, and he is weirdly obsessed with Angela. He showed up in season 1, but he's more important in season 2. White Rose isn't new, but she's here more often now. She's also some important Chinese government thing, but I can't remember. She leads the Dark Army, we know this. Dom is here now! She's a cop/detective thing, and she's a fiery redhead that I love! She's very lonely, and that's important kinda, but not really. There's also Joanna's boy toy, aka the only character I don't know the name of. Future me, it's Derek. Ray is fun. Santiago works for the FBI, but is secretly a Dark Army guy. Elliot is hiding away from the fact that the economy literally crashed because of him, and everyone's suffering. Him and Mr. Robot are fighting because Elliot wants to get rid of him, but maybe you shouldn't have gotten abused and then you wouldn't have DID, stinky. Please don't get mad, I'm joking. Joanna has a new boyfriend, but I literally can't remember why this was an important plot thread. Everyone at E-Corp hates Angela except Philip Price. He loves her. Elliot's being contacted by Tyrell, but he has no idea how. Dom leads the FBI investigation on 5-9. Darlene is becoming everything she hated. Mobley's like, dude, F Society hides an E-Corp person's smart house by hacking the frig out of it. They make E-Corp burn like $5 million in public. The person who burns it is Scott Knowles, by the way. Elliot hangs out with Leon, but Ray shows up and is like, I talk a lot. Gideon goes to a bar after doing some confessing or something, and this dude, Brock, is like, I think you're cool. Gideon tells him he's married, and Brock is like, when did he leave you? Fun fact, oh, no. Gideon's husband is dead? I don't know how people found this out, but he's dead. Brock shoots Gideon and he dies, so bye-bye, sweetheart. Elliot gets a phone call and Tyrell's like, bone sauce, Elliot. Whoa! Tyrell is alive? Romero is killed. Rest in peace, guy from Venom. Dom is sad. Very sad. She watches cute shows and movies because she is lonely. She also drinks so much coffee! She investigates Romero's death. Trent and Mobley are afraid that the Dark Army, or maybe FBI, same difference with Santiago, is going after them. Elliot overdoses on Adderall to get rid of Mr. Robot and goes, Ray is secretly evil and beats up this guy, apparently. Poor Rat Tail. This racist guy makes fun of a clerk, and the clerk is like, hey, please leave. And the racist guy just assaults him, and the church group is like, it's okay, because God loves you. And it's like, no, you're a bad person. Screw God. Price tells Angela that these guys she had a dinner with were involved with her mother's death, and he's like, you can get them fired. And she does just that. Dom finds an End of the World Party poster and goes to Coney Island, where she finds Fun Society. Is like, are you kidding me? Also, Ellie gets closer to Ray. Cisco shows up again, love you, BB, to tell Darlene that the FBI found the arcade. Also, Romero died while researching Operation Berenstain. Elliot does this sweet thing about how he wants his future to be, and this is how I want season 4 to end. Watching that scene and knowing who is dead is just... oof. Mr. O and Elliot do their stupid chess game, and duh, no one wins because they have the same brain, I guess. It's just Jerry's game. Ray has some online business and Elliot makes sure not to touch it. He does, but also Elliot says he's gonna hack the FBI. The Dark Army kills a bunch of the FBI in a shooting, and Dom is like, okay, this is weird. Elliot gets beat up, and that means... it used to be that you could trust in the story. Vilify the feelings and celebrate the heroes! Fun fact, the same people that wrote the Mr. Robot sitcom opening also wrote the Full House opening. They also recorded this segment with really old cameras. Angela's helping hack the FBI. The Dark Army puts a needle in Cisco's finger and breaks it off! Mr. Robot tells Elliot he shot Tyrell. He didn't kill him, but he really implies that he killed Tyrell. Elliot rats out Ray, and so he's arrested. Also, Mr. Robot and Elliot do their "we're friends now" lie that they do every season. That racist guy tries to assault Elliot, but Leon saves him, like, tell White Rose I'm a good person. So Leon works for the Dark Army. Also, Mr. Robot switches every time Elliot gets punched. Fun fact, I paused during the scene, and the second I unpaused, I heard the N-word. And now you found out Elliot's not at his mom's, he's in jail. Michael Hansen, aka Lenny, ratted out Elliot, and so he's been in jail because of hacking and stealing Flipper. They find out about Operation Berenstain. Darlene kills the owner of the house she's squatting in, potentially on purpose. Elliot is released from prison. Elliot has something to do with Phase 2. Angela goes to confess and kisses Elliot or something, but while she's going to her lawyer, she gets kidnapped. Cisco gets killed! Poor baby, I miss you! Angela's kidnapped, and White Rose talks to her about reality and stuff. No, it's not time travel. Stop saying it's time travel! Santiago refuses to believe Dom's correct theories because, well, you should know why. Also, a little girl interrogates Angela, and young Angela is played by the same girl. I doubt that's actually significant, it's just an Easter egg, but might as well include it. Mr. Robot finds a spooky, scary code, and Elliot's co-conscious, but Mr. Robot doesn't really know. To be fair, the code really isn't even that complex. Try harder, Dark Army. Then suddenly, Tyrell! He's like, oh, we are gonna be pals. And Elliot's like, no, we are not. The Dark Army's like, we blowing up E-Corp. And Elliot's like, no, but it was his idea. Code. That means it was Mr. Robot. Tyrell shoots the frig out of Elliot from fear, and he calls Angela. Dun, dun, dun. And he's all like, I love him. And Angela's like, Tyrellians don't deserve rights. Scott Knowles beats the flip out of Joanna, and she deserves it. The post-credit scene reveals, hey, Mobley and Trenton are all good. Leanne asked him for the time. No, it isn't time travel, you idiot.
But now, I'd like it if we could trust each other again. Let's shake on it.
New character! Irving is this guy. I can't even explain him, but I love him. He works for the Dark Army, but I love him. I would also like to mention Sandwich Guy. Mwah. So, Irving goes to check on Tyrell, who is freaking out because Elliot is nearly dead. Elliot wakes up and freaks out. He also wears a Property of Josh Groban shirt. Elliot thinks that maybe the bullet killed Mr. Robot, not him, which is what Fight Club did, which is inaccurate. So no, that did not kill Mr. Robot. They also feature a moment of two mentally ill siblings just being bros. Darlene's terrified that the Dark Army's after her, but they're a bit more on her and Elliot's side. Irving takes the kids out for barbecue. Elliot's like, no more of this phase! And Irving's like, alright, but no one's gonna be happy. Ew! Oh my god, that voice sucks. Elliot's like, well, I ruined everything. Man, Elliot, you sure are stupid. And decides he caused all these dang old problems and he should have let capitalism just exist and gets a job. And guess what? E-Corp! This next bit is important. He asks Angela to know when he switches to Mr. Robot, and she ruins his trust because she's working with the Dark Army! She's the only person he can trust, and he loves her, and she's like, no, you're stupid, I hate you, and uses him for Mr. Robot. She's like, hey, we can undo our parents' death, what would you sacrifice for that? And the audience is like, well, you chose to sacrifice your sanity. And finally, the man of the hour, Mr. Robot shows up and is all like, hey kiddo, to Angela. Also, Tyrell stands like a Danganronpa character. Mr. Robot's like, why do you lie to Elliot like this? And Angela verbatim says, how can I be lying to him? I'm literally looking right at him. And so she is solidified as jerkwad because she's taking advantage of Elliot. Elliot gets his E-Corp job, is like, I'm fixing the economy! And decides that being called Evil Corp isn't gonna work anymore, and also gets rid of terrible people in the company. Surprisingly, things work out for him for a while, but he's back to being a lonely disaster. Elliot tells Krista about his dad pushing him out a window, but what? He never told her that before! Joanna frames Scott Knowles as his wife's murderer and gets killed by Derek to a great song! Price is making E-Coin more important and trying to just push away Bitcoin. Darlene does stuff for the FBI to Elliot's PC, and he's like, no thanks, but whoops, that's actually Mr. Robot. There's also a really good scene where Krista meets Mr. Robot.
You should know that nothing's gonna come from this.
Lenny gives Elliot Flipper back because why not? The FBI is watching Elliot's PC now, so yay. But more importantly, where was Tyrell? The answer is in a cabin, getting beefy, putting on sunglasses, going crazy. You know, The Shining. Also, Frank Cody works with the Dark Army. Frick you. Also, Tyrell breaks his thumb. We also get to see Elliot's intestines. Talk about being up in them guts. Also, some guy that isn't an F Society makes a video for them. Maybe that'll show up again? Honestly, I don't know. Also, Elliot sees Angela and Tyrell chilling and stuff, then the episode's all like, everything means nothing to me. Elliot and Darlene are working together, by the way. Lucky for you, that's what I honk. That's what I blonk. Time for the one take episode! Ellie's about to get fired, but he has to stop the Dark Army, E-Corp, you don't understand! Also, he didn't come into work on Friday, but also he doesn't have any memories for 4 days. Elliot runs into a conference room and makes a donut go flying! Show me what democracy looks like! This is what democracy looks like! Angela does a thing, I don't know, it helps the Dark Army. Elliot runs into Angela's like, so, you're working with the Dark Army? Mr. Robot and Elliot are constantly fighting until Elliot's like, hey, there's nothing here, don't blow this up. And Mr. Robot's like, oh god! Elliot's like, haha, I saved everyone. So he leaves and then dun dun dun. He was the single point of failure and 70 plus E-Corp buildings blew up. Also, Tyrell finally learns, hey bud, your wife, dead. Your son, well, he's in foster care. Hotel? Trayvon. Also, Tyrell finally appears in public. Wowee, Leon has Mobley and Trenton? Krista learns Elliot was behind 5'9" and is like, hey, whoa! Angela decides everyone's all good after rewinding the news footage, and Darlene's like, okay. The Dark Army kills Trenton and Mobley, and they're framed for all the attacks. You also get to see Dom's chart of everyone involved in 5'9". And now, don't delete me! Elliot nearly, does a bad, but Trenton's little brother keeps bothering him. Elliot puts M&Ms in the popcorn, and the kid is like,
oh my god.
Dom starts to suspect stuff, specifically Santiago, because he refuses to listen to her. Elliot is able to undo the hack. Darlene and Dom do the devil's tango! Also, Grant phrases something weirdly, so it might be important. He says, you said someday Elliot will follow in the footsteps of his father. Maybe it's time he died for us soon. Paraphrasing, but that's basically it. Santiago kidnaps Darlene, but Dom catches him because he's not good at hiding things. So Santiago kidnaps her too and takes her to the Dark Army frat farm. Also, Elliot flips out and punches glass because he's Elliot and just does that a lot. He goes on the Ferris wheel with Mr. Robot to be like, can we please just be friends? And Mr. Robot's like, yes, of course, we do this every season. And so they're like,
we're boys again!
Irving's like, always gotta have a wow ending. And so the season does have a wow ending, but we'll get to that. Irving kills Santiago real hard. How do people feel when they see Elliot talking to himself? Also, Irving's like, you work for the Dark Army now, Dom. He's like, I don't want to! But man, it's not gonna work out that way. Also, Irving is so beefy. Also, Price is Angela's dad, so epic. Also, Price says it's impossible to reverse all the things that happened, so it's not time travel! Leon kills some Dark Army fellas because he's perfect and in love with Elliot. Also, Grant dies for White Rose, true love. And now, for the opposite of true love, Dom is like, you suck, Darlene! Also, Elliot wasn't pushed out a window. He jumped because, I don't know, that's how Elliot is. Poor Edward. Elliot reverses the hack, but his pain isn't over, lads.
Who are you?
I'm just a brave traveler. Just finally come home.